Hey guys, it's time for the Unit 4 review. We will be having a test over this stuff tomorrow. On the Unit 4 exam, it covers writing and solving systems of equations, graphing systems of equations, graphing linear inequalities, and graphing systems of linear inequalities. So let's start at the beginning. Let's look at number 1 on the we do side. Says Stevens JROTC is selling popcorn and candy. So we're going to use the letter P for popcorn and the letter C for candy. They sell a total of 24 treats. The number of candy is 4 less than 3 times as many popcorn. Write a system of equations and find out how many of each treat they sold. So like I already said, we're going to use P to represent popcorn and C to represent candy. So what they tell us to begin with is that they sell a total of 24 treats. 24. But of those 24, they only have two options. Either it's popcorn or it's candy. So that 24 is all the popcorn plus all the candy. The next thing they tell us is the number of candy is 4 less than 3 times as many popcorn. So it says the number of candy, and we use the letter C, is, anytime you see the word is, it's an equal sign. 4 less than 3 times as many popcorn. So 3 times popcorn, but we want 4 less than that, so minus 4. Those are our two equations. This is the hard part. Once you have the equations down, you can solve in the calculator by using menu 3, 2. You would say yes to two equations, but where it says variables, you can change it to any two letters you want. So I would suggest changing it to P and C like the way we did here. Once you do that, it gives you the answer 7, 17. So you need to pay special close attention to what each letter means. In your calculator, when it gives you the answer, it labels them for you, P and C. So what that means for us is that they sold 7 popcorn and 17 candies. Okay, let's look at the next one. Miss Rojas went to main event on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, she bowled 4 games and played laser tag 6 times for $66. Sunday, she bowled 6 games and played laser tag 3 times for $54. Write a system of equations and find out how much it costs to bowl 1 game. So in the question, it's asking us for the cost of bowling, but we also have to factor in the cost of laser tag. So that those are going to be our two letters. Let's use X to represent bowling and Y to represent the laser tag. Okay, so let's look at Saturday first. It says on Saturday she bowled 4 games and played laser tag 6 times for $66. So since we're using the letter X to represent bowling, and she went 4 times, that would be 4X. And she played laser tag 6 times, so 6, Y for laser tag. And she paid $66. So that's our first equation. Our second equation, she bowled 6 games and played laser tag 3 times for $54. So 6 times for bowling, so X. laser tag 3 times, so 3y, and she paid $54. So like I said before, writing the equations is the hard part, but once you have the equations, you can type this into the calculator and get your answer. When I type this into the calculator, I get the point 525, 7.5. But you have to be careful with this one because they're asking how much does it cost to bowl one game, specifically bowl. So in our little system here, we use the letter X to represent bowling. So that means that the first one is what goes with bowling. It costs $5.25 to bowl one game. So be careful with this one because you can get the right answer but give the wrong number. So you need to make sure that you keep your variables straight when you're solving these. Now let's do one more like this. This next one is going to be talking about money. And I believe there's about 3 questions like that on the test. So this one is very important. A bag contains 42 coins consisting dimes and quarters. So that's going to be our 2 variables. D for dimes, Q for quarters. The total amount of money in the bag is $6.75. Write a system of equations and find out how many dimes are in the bag. So D and Q are going to be my letters. My first equation should say that there's 42 coins consisting of dimes and quarters. So 42 coins equals dimes and quarters. The second part says the total amount of money in the bag is $6.75. So we need to know how much money each type of coin is worth. Okay, so $6.75 equals, I know that a dime is worth 10 cents, so 0.10 D, plus I know that a quarter is worth 25 cents. Now that we have our 2 equations, we can type this into the calculator. When I type it, I get the answer 25,17. But like before, they're only asking about a specific one. They're asking how many dimes. So look in your calculator and it'll label them for you. With mine, D was the first one and Q is the second one. So the answer for this question is there are 25 dimes in the bag. Okay, so now number 4 says solve the systems and write the Y value. So just as we've been doing before, 4 and 5 are in the calculator. Menu 3.2, which is called linsolve. These are way easier because they give you the equations. You don't have to write them yourself. The only thing that you have to be careful of is they're asking you for a specific number, either the X or the Y. So when I type in the first system, Y equals 4 plus 3X, and 2x plus y equals, or 2x plus 1 equals y, I get the answer -3, -5. But this is asking for the y value, so I only want the second number. Okay, when I type in the next system, 2x plus y equals -4, and 2x plus 3y equals positive 4, I get the answer, negative 4 comma 4. But this is asking for the x value, and x is the first number. So the answer for this one is negative 4. So make sure that you're reading your questions carefully and seeing exactly which one they want you to write down. Okay, now let's turn to the back of the page. Okay, this question is asking, the tables of ordered pairs represent some points on the graphs of line T and line H. Write the system of equations that is represented by lines T and H in standard form. Okay, so I showed you how to do these on the calculator. You would have to go to 1 for new document, then 4 for list and spreadsheet, type in your numbers into the spreadsheet, then you would do Control Doc, go to Data and Statistics, label your graph, the x-axis and the y-axis, then Menu, 4 for Analyze, 6 for Regression, 1 for Linear. The problem with this, though, is that it's only going to give you the equation in y equals mx plus b form. It's not going to give it to you in standard form. So that is something that you're going to have to do on your own. So let's practice that now. So let's look at the graph, or I'm sorry, the table for line T. Since I can't show you the calculator here on the screen, I'm going to do this one by hand very quickly. So when I'm doing a line, I need to know what the slope is. From 0 to 1, it's plus 1. From 9 to 4, it's minus 5. So y equals mx plus b. Our m is negative 5x. Then I need my y-intercept. Y-intercept is always next to the 0. So on this one, 9 is my y-intercept. So my equation is y equals negative 5x plus 9. But like I just got finished saying, I want this in standard form. So standard form, in case you don't remember, is x and y are both on the same side. Right now, x and y are on different sides of the equal sign. So I'm going to move this 5x by adding it to both sides. So it cancels on the right, but on the left, now I have positive 5x plus y equals 9. X and y are on the same side, so this is our standard form of that line. Okay, so now let's look at the other table for line H. I need to find my slope. So from negative 3 to 0, they had to add 3. From 3 to 5, they had to add 2. So my slope would be 2 over 3. Now x. Now I need my y-intercept, and it's the number next to the 0, so plus 5. I want x and y to be on the same side of the equal sign, so since this is positive, I'm going to subtract 2 over 3x. Now that gives me negative 2 over 3x, positive y equals 5. So x and y are on the same side, but there's a rule that says that you cannot have a fraction and you cannot have a negative number. So in order to fix that, we're going to multiply by negative 3 because that's what's at the bottom of the fraction. Then we multiply this in. That gives us positive 2x minus 3y equals negative 15. and that is our system in standard form. So remember, there is one exactly like this on the test. Of course, it's different tables, so you're going to have to repeat this process. If you get stuck and you don't know what to do, I would suggest graphing these lines to begin with, and then graphing what you came up with here and seeing which one matches, because you are going to have answer choices. Okay, number 7. How many times do the lines 7x plus 3y equals 1 and 14x plus 6y equals 2 intersect? So normally I would tell you to graph this on your calculator, but like I said, I can't show you my calculator. So I'll give you an idea of what it looks like. If this was my graph, when I graph 7x plus 3y equals 1, it looks something like this. Then when I graph the other line, 14x plus 6y equals 2, it goes right on top of it. So if the question is asking how many times do they intersect, well, they intersect everywhere because they're exactly on top of each other. So we would say that they intersect infinitely many times. Okay, number 8. How many solutions does the graph have? So remember, just to review, the solutions are going to be where they intersect. There's only 3 options. You could have one solution because the graphs actually cross. It could have no solution because the lines are parallel. Or it could have infinitely many solutions, which is what we just saw a while ago when the lines overlap. It would just look like one line. Those are your only 3 options. Okay, so now looking at what we have, it says how many solutions does the graph have? So as far as I can tell, they're not touching, but they're also not parallel. So if the lines were to continue going the way that they're going, it would be something like that. The other line doing the same thing. So they do cross. Just because we don't see it on our piece of the graph doesn't mean that they never do cross. So if they cross one time, this one would have one solution. Okay, number 9, graph the solution set of the following system of inequalities. So this is all calculator. You do not have to do it by hand. That being said, I can't show you the calculator, so I'm going to write down the steps. You would go to your graph, and then you're going to have to press delete 6. Type in your inequality, then graph trace is menu 5-1. And that is how you would get your first inequality. So I'm going to do that one right now. 2x plus y is less than 1. Also, because that symbol is not underlined, this is going to be a dashed line. Then you have to look at your picture and see what side is going to get colored. On this side, it's going to be the bottom half. Okay, in order to type in a second inequality, you're going to have to press Tab and then do the same thing. Graph it and then do Trace. Menu 5-1. This time, there's a line underneath the symbol, so this is going to be a solid line. And using your calculator, you can see which side is going to be shaded. On this one, it's the bottom. Okay, and that is what our system of inequalities should look like. On your test, what they might do is they might only color in the solution set, meaning they might only color in the part where it's shaded by both colors. Okay, number 10. Are the following ordered pairs in the solution set of negative 12x plus 16y is greater than 24? So first, I need to know what that graph looks like. So I would clear the calculator and type this into graph. Then you can do menu 5-1 for trace so that you can graph it as accurately as possible. Also, this one, it has no underline, so that's going to be a dashed line. And then using your calculator, I can tell that it's going to be shaded in on the top. Okay, so now it's our job to check to see if these 3 points are in the solution set. So the solution set for an inequality is the shaded region. What if it lands on top of the line? Well, if it's a solid line, then yes, it's still part of the solution. If it's a dashed line, then no, it's not part of the solution. So let's see what we have. We have the point 8, 2. So 8, 2, right here. It's in the white part. It's not part of the solution. Next point, 2, 6. Okay, it's in the shaded region, so this one is a yes. Then the third one, negative 6, negative 3. So this is what I was talking about. This one is right on the line. So on line. Does that count as the solution or not? Well, this line is a dashed line. So this one is no. If it had been solid, then it would have been yes. Okay, and then last but not least, graph the following inequality. You are going to have one exactly like this on the test. Of course, it's going to be a different equation, but you're going to have to draw one by hand. You can use your calculator, then do menu 5-1 for trace to find points, but you could also graph it by hand. So y equals mx plus b means I would start at 4. Then the slope is -1/2, so down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. And this symbol means it's going to be a solid line. Okay, so there's my solid line. Then, because it's greater than, the top part is going to get colored in. Okay, and then that's it, guys. I know it seems like it took a long time to get through it, but it's because I had to explain everything. When you do this on your own, it does go a lot faster, especially since it's in your calculator. You are still responsible for doing the I do column of the front and the back. It is going to be counted as a grade. So make sure that you do the I do side here and here, and that'll be due tomorrow before the test. All right, guys, be prepared for tomorrow.